very much to everybody for joining this morning. We do appreciate your interest and your curiosity in the forthcoming changes. And yeah, just by way of introduction, for those people that I haven't met before, my name's Dave Foster. I had the privilege of taking on the presidency back in the April spring meeting in Madrid, and yeah, as a day job, I've been with Shell, with the Shell organisation now for 30 plus years, and specifically in the bitumen business with Shell for the best part of 25 years. So lots of experience. It's a great industry, and it's a great initiative, and I'm very pleased to be involved with EUB3465. Okay, shall we move on to slide? I think it's my slide number 7, Siobhan. Okay, hopefully you can see a slide there with all of the current members. I'd just like to reflect really on the evolution of EUB3465 since its inception back in the late 60s, I think in 1969, and just reflect on where we were then and how we've evolved to where we are today, and some of the rationale behind the reasoning behind the move to a single one organisation.
I'm sorry, Dave, I have a problem. The slides are moving themselves.
Oh, right,
I'm trying to keep them on. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, don't worry.
Carry on. I'll try and manage that.
Okay. So hopefully you can still see the slide with all of our current members on, and I think that's a really telling slide, because if you go back to the late 60s, 69, I think EUB3465 had 6 members. And whilst I've almost given my age away in the number of years of service with Shell, my corporate memory doesn't quite go back to 1969. But I would imagine at that time, EUB3465 was members with the major international oil companies, typically. But now, if you look at the membership, it's very, very different. You know, we've still got the international oil companies. We've got global trading organizations, we've got merchant refiners, we've got supply chains, chemicals, additives suppliers, we've got academia, we've got an international member, and we have logistics experts in there as well. So I think if you look at the length, the breadth, and the expertise and the geographical coverage of how the organisation has evolved, it gives you some sort of insight into why we're having to change, or why we feel it's appropriate to change the organisation from where we are today. Okay, moving on to slide number 8. Siobhan, if you've got that.
It is moving itself.
It is moving. Right, okay.
Let's hope, hopefully I can.
Don't worry. Do you want me to pause for a little while, or shall we try?
Now it's moved on my screen. I don't know.
Okay.
Can I just ask, I'm sorry, can you, people that are online, Jean-Michel, is that now showing our vision?
Yes,
perfect. Okay, let's hope it doesn't move itself.
Never in any doubt, Siobhan. So okay, so moving on. Just I mean, firstly, you know, every organisation needs a vision, and it's just a very subtle reminder here of the vision of EUB3465, and what we strive for is to become ultimately the first reference for bitumen in Europe. Okay, slide number 9, Siobhan, if you can. I'm just going to take a couple of moments now just to talk about the mission. I mean, ultimately, the mission is a description of how we believe we will achieve our vision. And there's 3 very key parts of supporting the activities of EUB3465, and they can be identified as firstly, education and promotion, developing positions for guidance, and communicating to stakeholders of all of the positive messages that EUB3465 have. So again, just to cover the 3 points on the bullet screen there, we want to educate and promote efficient, economic, effective, safe and sustainable use of refined bitumen in the roads and industrial sectors. We need to provide information and guidance on technical health and safety and also environmental matters, again, based on proven data, not hearsay. And we need to create a positive image and environment for sustained bitumen demand, based on the communication of the product benefits to all our key reference points. Now, we can only do that through one way, and we're very much dependent as an organisation on a very unique network of experts, both within the EUB3465 team. If I talk about, if we look at the screen now, we can see the key committees. And EUB3465 is formed of some expert committees, some subcommittees, and also a steering group as well. And it's this organisation and this bringing together of experts that really will help us deliver on our missions. So we have a PR and communications committee. We have health, safety and environment, and they're ably supported by the safe handling of bitumen subcommittee, and we have a technical committee and also a steering group which is incredibly busy at the moment, and that's the Bitumen Sustainability Steering Group, and they're looking at issues around the LCA of bitumen, the carbon footprint of bitumen, which are clearly very, very important as we move forward. Okay, slide number 11, please, Siobhan. Okay, so the existing structure which we have today is what you can see on your screen now. So this is a central office that's based in Brussels, and that's supported by 5 local representations, and they are based in the Benelux, in Germany, in France, Switzerland, and also the UK. You will recall that these previous associations were almost independent, not independent, but autonomous of EUB3465 as it is today. And they were ARBIT, they were GPB in France, the RBA in the UK, and EUB3465 memberships in Benelux and Switzerland. So for the last 10 years, we've been really working as a one EUB3465 organisation under a central sort of umbrella of EUB3465. And you could argue that in some respects, the move away from these independent national associations was really the early pathway to a single organisation, of which we're trying to get to on the 1st of January next year. Okay, if we move on to slide number 12, Siobhan. Okay, so we've looked a little bit about where the organisation has been, and now we're going to touch a little bit on where we're trying to take the organisation to. And the board of EUB3465 has a responsibility to continue, and has had a responsibility to continue exploring synergies and opportunities to further improve not only the efficiencies of EUB3465, but also the effectiveness of the organisation. So effectively, it can become a stronger voice of the industry, and adding greater value to the membership, of course. So as part of an ongoing review of the performance, the board dedicated a very small task force to review the vision and the mission, and therefore to try and develop a strategy and a structure to deliver it. So if we just move on to the next slide, Siobhan, please. Okay, so what you can see in front of you now is the proposed organisation for 2024. And the new structure for the organisation was proposed and agreed, I would say, right at the end of 2022. So this isn't a short-term sort of plan that we've hatched. This has been very much in the thinking for a significant period of time now. And throughout 2023, we've been evaluating how and really trying to take those first bite-sized steps into making the transformation real. And what you can see now is a new structure that has been developed on a matrix system of functional responsibilities, together and combined with geographic leadership. So if we look at the diagram in front of you, we have 4 core functional areas that have been identified as the most important for EUB3465 as we go through the next number of years. And they are health and safety, and they will have a functional lead, who is Anja Sorensen. Anja is well known throughout the industry. Anja will be based in Germany. We have a technical lead, and that will be Ian Lancaster, who is based in the UK. And we will have, this is future proofing for the organisation, we will have a marketing and membership manager as well. And that recruitment process will not start immediately, but that is likely to be as we go through 2024. We will also have a sustainability lead. There's a huge focus, as I've mentioned earlier, on sustainability, and that recruitment process, whilst it's started already, will take a little bit of time, but we expect and hope we will have an incumbent in role early, potentially in 2024. So these, we will also have communications and office support. You will recall in the past we've had Vivian based in Brussels, but that key element will be outsourced to an external company. So all of the 4 functional areas will be steered by Siobhan, our Director General, and yes, we will have a team structure within EUB3465 consisting of 5 full-time resources, and the matrix with functional and geographic responsibilities all across Europe. And as we're all aware now, we have local representatives in the 5 organisations I mentioned earlier. They will become fully integrated into the one organisation as we move through 2024. Okay.
Can I just ask one quick question?
Of course you can.
Jean-Michel, is everybody in from the lobby? Because I can't see. I've had a few.
No, Siobhan. I cannot see anyone in the lobby.
You cannot see. Okay, I'm going to just check before we continue, because I've had some messages. Okay, I'm admitting them.
Okay.
Shall
we crack on?
So I may have to not go on full presentation mode, because I'm just conscious that people, but maybe you can.
Okay, I'll carry on, Siobhan. So okay. So if we look at the initial structure, it places a priority for EUB3465 on the existing 5 markets where we currently have local EUB3465 presence, and they are Germany, UK, France, Switzerland, and the Benelux. But as we mentioned earlier, the geographic focal points are really planned to expand as the organisation develops and create a presence across the main active markets for our members across Europe. So, for example, Anja, focal point for HSSC, will lead Germany, but the geographical coverage will also incorporate Switzerland, Austria, and Italy. Ian Lancaster, based in the UK, will have geographical coverage for the Benelux, Nordics, and Ireland. And Jean-Michel, who was very kindly and willingly prolonged his retirement whilst we recruit a sustainability lead, will focus on France, Spain, and Portugal. Now, just worth pointing out that the sustainability lead, when we recruit that person, the successful applicant will be French speaking, and that was one of the key sort of caveats of the application process. Okay.
Could I just add something extra there, Dave? Just
please do.
To say that the obviously the priority focus for those focal points, the markets, is currently within the existing local representations this year. So although we have earmarked or some additional markets, they won't come in the first year. We have to really make sure we manage the transition, and then the hope is that we can extend those geographic market areas further, and that's why we've got examples there of Austria or Nordics or Spain, but for sure that they aren't expected to happen in the first year. It's a growing evolution. Yeah.
Okay, so if we move on to slide 16, Siobhan, please. So what benefits can we expect? Now, benefits are important. You know, if we don't see benefits, why would we change the organisation? We are very confident that this more structured, streamlined organisation will deliver efficiencies and certainly help us to maximise resources. So what are the key benefits of the new organisation? Well, one of them, as I mentioned earlier, was a functional approach as we move forward. So a stronger internal focus, real expertise in the employment around HSSC, sustainability and technical issues. And that's, you know, this is dedicated leadership to manage those key external relationships as well. And then a one organisation should provide, you know, it should provide faster processes for decision making and delivering results, which you would expect from let's call it a less or a slightly less fragmented organisation. Streamlined, it will provide a vehicle to communicate consistent messages as one voice, and we should see improved efficiencies and synergies to maximise these resources. We should also see an incentive really to improve the information exchanges within member companies and create a more internal sort of alignment on positions. And on that position, I mean, if I speak on behalf of my organisation, I believe this sort of less fragmented approach for those members who operate across the continent will help certainly internal alignment on certain positions. We hope that will be replicated across other member companies as well. Okay, as we move on to slide number 17, what are the key changes? And I think the key changes are quite simplistic. There will be one name of EUB3465 and one logo. And I think the second point here is certainly worth pointing out. The specific local representations, as we've known them in the past, will no longer exist in the one organisation. A significant shift as well is that from 2024, there will be one central European budget with all members contributing. Another key change is that local activities supporting the mission that we touched on earlier will be included in the one central budget. And clearly a major change as well is the introduction of the functional leads and the geographic focal points within the team that we haven't previously had. Okay, let's continue to move on, Siobhan. Okay, what will remain the same? I think the key theme here across all of the bullet points that you can see is continuation, which I believe is a very positive thing as well. So whilst there are undoubted changes to the organisation and, you know, within the governance of the organisation as well, we do need to continue delivering value to the membership as we have been doing for many years. So many things will stay the same. So we'll continue to involve members with the development and implementation of all activities. We'll continue to provide regular updates and feedback exchanges. We'll continue to have general meetings, expert committees, and local market exchanges. And you can see there the very subtle plug on the screen for the forthcoming autumn meeting, which hopefully is in your diaries for the 19th and 20th of October in Brussels. We hope to see as many there as possible. EUB3465 will continue also to provide the infrastructure and governance for all member exchanges, both centrally and locally, and will continue to implement different activities supporting so long as it's within the mission of EUB3465 across Europe as well. Interestingly, we will continue to provide a platform to support specific members if they have very special projects locally that may not be included within the one budget of EUB3465. Okay, that might generate one or two questions later, which we're happy to address, but that will continue into 2024 and beyond. Slide 19, Siobhan. Again, importantly, how will we continue to be the voice of bitumen, of bitumen across the industry at a local level? Well, it's important that we maintain a dialogue through EUB3465 through the geographic focal points and all the contacts of members locally. We will implement EUB3465 initiatives, campaigns, etc., and support the mission and provide very consistent messaging. And we'll organise formal exchanges as well for information sharing between EUB3465 members and members locally. I think this is a really important aspect as well. So the plan at this point is to continue with at least maybe 2 exchanges a year between the local members, so that we create and continue the great work and deliver the value that the local membership have given for many years. And obviously, as per se, we encourage participation of all member contacts within the EUB3465 general meetings, both spring and autumn. And we'll continue to identify key stakeholders and the levels of interaction needed to maintain those. I mean, as we know, EUB3465 have cultivated several multi-layer relationships with many stakeholders across the wider European industry and at local levels as well. If we can move on to the next slide, we can just review and have a quick look at the scope of the breadth of our stakeholder relationships, Siobhan.
Sorry, I had already. I'm sorry. There you go.
Oh, you're there already? Right. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. No worries at all. Okay. So you can see on your screen there, we have a very strong network across Europe, spanning the refining sector, R&D via research, asphalt producers, contracting divisions, industry associations such as ARPA, Mineral Products Association, and also the various European road authorities across our various networks. I think as part of the one organisation, I would suggest our partner stakeholder relationships should continue to grow, and we would fully expect them to be strengthened as the organisation takes shapes and widens its geographical footprint. I think we will move on to the timelines. This is the final slide before any questions. So if we look at the timeline of what we're trying to do here, let's have a look at where we are today. We're transitioning a central budget with 50% local resource costs, plus the local 5 local representatives as well. As we move into 2024, we'll have one budget, and that's a key difference, and that's for all members. Plus, as I mentioned earlier, if there are special local projects identified for specific members as well, and that will continue right through 2024 and into 2025 and beyond. We're also looking now at the revision of statutes, various aspects of internal regulations, governance, notaries, and revised office operating guidelines. They've all been approved by members, but we'll look to implement those as we move through the commencement of 2024. We'll evaluate and review the effectiveness of that in 2024, and if we need to shift or to tweak, let's call it, in 2025, we can. Finally, so 2023, we've been identifying the one team structure. We will initiate the recruitment, or we have initiated the recruitment of the sustainability lead, and we're looking for real excellence within that position. And as we go through 2024, we will introduce the one team and start the recruitment also of the marketing lead as well in 2024, which effectively becomes fully operational in 2025. So whilst there are changes, we firmly believe that they are very much for the positive and for the betterment of the members and the organisation. I think that concludes pretty much the formal part of this presentation.